and welcome to Some Shit We Like, Side Missions. What is side missions, you say? Side missions are stories and topics that won't be on a full show, but it's going to be on a separate show.
Right. I'm going to use a word and a term that I really love to use, and I've used it a lot recently with us because we did some of these before we've
done this in the past.
Right. So these are going to be either topics or lists or discussions or whatever it may be that are not time sensitive and can be considered evergreen, to where you can come to them at any time.
Take a look.
And it makes sense. So it's not going to be on a... This one is semi-topical because it's going to have a topical thing in it, but we're also going to be giving you a list of our top 5 favorite somethings that we'll get to in a minute.
You're just seeing the title already.
Yeah. I forget that. Like,
if you see the title, then you already know.
You know what? Like, I totally forget that, and it's funny because every YouTuber I watch forgets that shit too. It's like, oh yeah, I had to put what it actually is in the title so people would actually click on it
yeah.
Because these goddamn chuds don't have 5 minutes to watch a video of mine. So, sit back and relax, your chuds, as we review the new Green Day album and give you our top 5 list of our favorite, won't say best,
our personal favorite top 5 Green Day albums.
Yeah.
For example, if you ever seen the movie High Fidelity, that's what we do here. Well, what's what me and you usually do.
Yeah, Bryce doesn't like to do lists, which is one of the reasons why there's only 2 of us. So,
yeah.
So we can really only force Bryce to do the top 5 lists when it comes to the end of the year stuff, and even then he protests. But anyway, Rick got on a kick. This new Green Day album came out. I listened to it, and I was like, Rick, you got to listen to this album so we can talk about it.
Yep.
And he's been watching the High Fidelity TV show.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, man, let's make some lists. And I was like...
Which kind of boosted this.
Yeah. Because I love making lists because, like, I always talk about on our end of the year shows or any, like, supplemental shows we do that involve lists. I like having these conversations with myself. I like having to make tough choices and hard decisions and saying, yes, I actually do like X better than Y. And then if somebody calls me on it, I can explain why. Like I really enjoy that aspect of it, is having a formulated argument as to why I like this thing or I don't like this thing. It's one of my favorite things we do here.
Yeah, and it's not whose is better and whose is not better. It's just we're just having fun. We're having a discussion, and hopefully you'll have a discussion with us too in the I was gonna say Discord, but if you're not on Discord, on our Discord or in the comments below, because we do look at those.
Like when Rolling Stone does a list of the top 100 guitarists of all time and Prince isn't in the top 25, I get real upset because he's super underrated. But we like causing discussion. I love being a part of those discussions, and hopefully these kinds of lists that we do spark those discussions with you and yours, or with us in the comments below.
So with that being said,
I felt like a real YouTuber there when I said comments below.
And while we have you here, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell if you want. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's just jump right into it with the review of
Father of all ...
Father of all motherfuckers.
Yeah.
With the unicorn.
It's a real try-hard title, if you ask my opinion. But you didn't.
I think they just kind of give up. Because, this is their last album for this record label.
Right.
Because when I was listening to some interviews with them, they were going to originally call it American Idiot 2. They're like, nah, let's just put a real title on it.
That would be... Yeah, they talked about that on Stern.
On Stern? Yeah, I heard it on someone else.
Yeah, they talked about it there also, about how...
God, I didn't know they were on Stern recently.
Yeah, that's what that video was of them, when I sent you that video of them playing the single. Because I didn't know if you heard it
right.
That was from the Stern appearance.
That's right. You're right. Okay.
But yeah, it's a thing.
So, it's different. Going into the review straight up, like, it's definitely different from anything I've ever heard from them.
Yes.
Keep in mind that I've only listened to Uno dos Tres.
Once, maybe? Same here.
And
that's not a terrible album. It's too much.
It's not bad. It's just, in my opinion, like, it doesn't... I don't know. It just didn't click to me.
Yeah,
it just didn't click for me.
For sure.
But we're not talking about those. We're talking about this album. And for the most part, like, straight out of the gate, their title song is their single song.
And I like that song a lot, actually. It grew on me. Didn't know how to feel about it at first.
It definitely grew on me too, because like I was like, wait a minute, this sounds like early 2000s Strokes or like the Hives, or like that era, right? Doesn't it?
You're not giving them as much credit as I did. I was thinking that it sounded very, very Kinks. With overmodulation of the instruments and the voice. Not so much like the fake falsetto he's doing.
Interesting.
But,
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. But
that's an interesting way to put it.
But the Strokes and the Hives and those...
They
all the bands are derivative of
yeah.
the Kinks. And arguably the Clash and Green Day, which preceded them. But that's not the only song on this. I can't think of the title right now, but there's a bunch of songs on here that sound like they could be Strokes or Hives or Vines songs,
which
is really weird.
Yeah, before we get into the nitty grits of the title tracks or the tracks, like overall, like it grew on me. It's a short album. It's quick. It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrically, I enjoyed it too. I think I'm getting into it. Fire Ready Aim is like one of my favorites.
Yeah,
off of it so far. But like we just said, like. They talked about how they were just going to call it American Idiot 2.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't even have that vibe. Like, that's the thing.
No. Yeah, it doesn't. But remember, American Idiot came out in 2004.
Yes.
Which was in the early 2000s, had that kind of era of this type of music.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of feel like this could have been released straight after American Idiot, and it felt like they didn't even miss a beat.
Instead, they tried way too hard with 21st Century Breakdown to be American Idiot 2.
Yeah, and like they did all these other things before they actually got to this.
Yeah.
Not to say, when I'm saying all these other things, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying...
You're saying that sound-wise, this album could have came out 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a grower. That's what I like about it.
It's definitely a grower. Yeah. But I have a lot of issues with some of the songs on it, and some of those issues are kind of put to rest with some of the writing credit and publishing credit and stuff like that. But some of them just are, I don't know, man. I hate this term because I feel like it's a lazy term to use, but I also feel like this is a lazy album by Green Day. This album is a mixed bag, dude. Like, there's high points and there's low points, and then there's some real mediocre garbage in the middle, which I hate more than the lows. Because even when... even when they went full on, or got, I won't say went, because I don't feel like they ever really went full on mainstream until now, as far as their attitude, style, and tone and everything. But when they got mainstream, I don't feel like some of the albums that were farted out in that time are as mediocre as most of the tracks on this album. Yeah.
Yeah. When you say it's a grower, yeah, it definitely is, because after like 3 times, like I probably heard this already like 7 times already, and it's full just because how short it is and how long my commute is.
I listened to it 3 full times the day it came out because I really wanted to like get into it and listen to it.
Yeah, I definitely heard it twice when it first came out, and then more after that. And it definitely grew on me, and I grew to like it. I actually like it.
Yeah,
it sounds weird that I actually like something that doesn't sound
like Green Day.
Like Green Day.
Yeah. Remember when Fran made his Star Wars movies list?
Then we're going with Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure, Star Wars Holiday Special, Jedi Empire Conversation from Clerks, Death Star Construction Conversation from Clerks, Spaceballs, The Blue Harvest, Something Dark Side, It's a Trap, that tutorial before you go on Star Tours, that one Han and Chewie reference in Armageddon, Path of Jedi, Captain EO Theater, Jedi Trials of the Temple over that little show they used to have, then the Star Wars Dance Party at Disney World, and then Last Jedi.
And he put everything in front of episode 8.
Yeah.
This is Green Day's episode 8, man.
This is the Last Jedi.
This is... dude... I would put everything they did ever above this. above even
I
21st
don't
Century
see
Breakdown.
that.
Even 21st Century Breakdown.
I'll put Uno dos tres before.
Or
At
put
the-
this
at the
before
end.
that?
No,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
put it- I mean,
Oh,
towards the end.
no. Oh,
Yeah.
no, because like I said, as farted out and as much as too much of that album as there is, it still feels like there's some fucking guts to it. Like, if you can tell this is like, can we just fucking put something out and get out of this contract now? Like, that's what this whole album feels like. And that's not to say that it's a terrible... I'm going to say about this album what I say about Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is a terrible fucking Green Day album. But this is a good rock album, man.
Okay, that's an interesting way to put it. All right, okay, I can see
This is
that.
a terrible Green Day album. But this is actually a very enjoyable rock and roll record, man.
I can see that. I can see that point of view. But I don't know. I don't think it's as bad.
Okay.
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
I definitely see that they were pooping this out, dooking this out.
You son of...
Because this is their last album
on that label.
on the label. But at the same time, like, they have to put work. They put work into it.
Oh yeah,
You know?
I'm not shortchanging the engineers or the soundboard people or
Right,
the technicians or Green Day as musicians or songwriters either. I'm not saying that.
You know what I feel like these are? These are tracks that they've had in their pocket but didn't put out, and they've tweaked them and put them into an album to their liking.
That would explain why nothing has any cohesive tie together. That would really explain that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I just figured it out.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like that might have been that mythical album that they had made before they trashed it and made American Idiot. Because there was always that rumor that went around too, that they had made, they were done, and then they listened to it and were like, this is not good. And then went back and did American. This is the not good album.
That's a pool right there.
Maybe that's why it could have been called American Idiot too. TOO as an also, not TWO.
Oh my god, that would have been hilarious if they did that. But I'm kind of glad they did it, because American Idiots, it's his own thing.
So now that I'm done calling them lazy musicians and terrible songwriters, this is actually a really fun album.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun album. Definitely thrown into rock too. Like, I would put this in my rotation of Green Day.
Yeah. That fake EP by that band that was claiming it was Green Day is better than this shit.
That big old giant hoax. Yeah.
So good though, right?
Yeah, they had some good fucking tracks.
I went and listened to the 3 or whatever that are on Amazon Music, and they sound like.
Did you watch the video I sent you?
No, I didn't watch it yet.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I listened to the songs, and because I didn't want to see them, I just wanted to hear it.
Right.
And I listened to them the same day I listened to this album initially, and I was like, yeah, this sounds like the stuff that band did, calling it the Green Day secret release or whatever they were calling it, should have came right after American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown. It had that operatic concept album vibe to it. It sounded really cool. It sounded really cool. But
you should watch that video.
I will.
Yeah. I'll put it in the links below when I find it. But this separate. Apparently, these guys were making an album. Apparently, people thought it was Green Day doing a secret album.
Yeah.
And after it was all kind of like cats out of the bag, they released like their own little documentary on how they did this, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I guess Billie Joe Armstrong has been on record as saying that he thought it was genius for them to do something like that. Like,
yeah, I think that's pure marketing genius.
He was probably thinking, "Fuck, why didn't we do that?"
Going through the album, not going through the title or going through the tracks.
Yeah.
Like, what were some of your favorites? Before we get into the nasty.
I really like the title track. I really like Father of All, because I feel like that could be like I said, like Kinks or like Arctic Monkeys or like and there's definitely some other stuff on here that's got a little bit more of a disjointed tone to it that I would say like, oh man, that would have been a great Arctic Monkeys song. But I definitely like Father of All the most out of everything on here. There's some others too, but like that's the one that really stands out. I don't know why. I think it's because it sounds so different from them.
Yeah, because some of the other tracks on here are Green Day
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah. Definitely.
Other than, the one we'll talk about later. But
there's two.
but yeah, I didn't like their title track, Father of All.
You didn't like it?
When I first heard it?
Yeah,
I did not like it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I don't know if I didn't like it. I didn't know how to feel about it.
Maybe that's what it was. I think that's more like I didn't know what to think of it or how I felt about it, because like this is different from everything I've heard, especially with how high he's singing.
Yeah, and it probably didn't help that the first time I heard it was actually watching them perform it, so I could see him struggling
to get high,
to get high.
Vocally.
So I just don't know, like I didn't know how to feel about it.
Okay.
But I was listening to it today, prepping for this. Because we do show prep here sometimes, every once in a while. I found myself like really, really enjoying that song. Like, I don't know why. Maybe.
I mean, I enjoy it now, but when I first heard it, once I started putting the album in rotation, that's when I kind of started growing on me.
Yeah, like the main riff is like real chunky, and I like that sound. I don't know. It's I like the way Billie Joe plays guitar, because it always sounds like he's fucking attacking it. Like it never sounds like he's working with, because even on like American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown, like they used other musicians to help fill out the guitars and all that stuff, and
right.
So like that album, I would say feels like somebody working with their instrument to make music. But like on quintessential like Green Day albums, it always sounds like he's just fucking
just railing into it.
Yeah, just punching it. Like, and I don't know. I like that sound, because that sound to me is like, it's very punk rock of a sound.
Kind of like Nimrod.
Yeah, man.
That was all like crazy, like trashing his guitar.
Yeah, and again, like the way his actions and his attitude and his persona then were derivative of
Insomniac, sorry, not Nimrod.
Yeah, we're derivative. I knew what you meant. I could have put it. We're derivative of guys, of bands like the Sex Pistols and stuff like that, where they kind of just beat the shit out of their instruments, and like I don't know. I just really enjoy that sound.
He does it with finesse.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that sound.
Style.
So like, I get that vibe from that song, that main riff where it's like 3 chords and then it's drums and 3 chords and it's like it sounds like he's fucking pounding the shit out of those strings, and I don't know, I like that sound.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Fire Ready Aim.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's a great song. That's a song that definitely sounds like it could have been on American Idiot.
Yeah.
Especially lyrically and what it's talking about. And that's also going into the disjointedness of this album, where like all of a sudden this next track is something completely different. Or not completely different, but like lyrically, like it's just like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
No theme. I don't know. I guess maybe just thinking as a writer, like having a theme of an album with certain songs meaning something that follows one after another.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not all albums are like that, but for the most part, I feel like there's a sort of
continuity.
There you go. There you go. Continuity is what I'm looking for.
Very rarely do you come across an album where it feels like an artist is just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Right. It's weird that I'm going to fucking bring this artist and this album up here. But Lady Gaga's first album, Fame, it felt like she was a struggling songwriter that was... all the songs had a similar tone, I guess you could say, or were very, very pop derivative, but it all just felt like throwing everything at the wall and like, okay, what's gonna stick? And then what stuck was the more theatrical style of songs. So then when she came out with the supplemental album, The Fame Monster, it was 9 or 10 tracks or something of that very over-the-top, almost Broadway-ish production shit. Like she found the thing that stuck and then made a whole album of that. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking those two out. I actually thoroughly enjoy those fucking albums. But like, this feels like that. This feels like a group of musicians and songwriters throwing everything at the
Throw it
wall
at
to
the
see
wall
if
and
anything
what
sticks.
Yeah.
But they don't need to fucking do that. They don't need. They're fucking Green Day. They don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So okay, other songs that jump out, and again, it's another song that sounds like it could be a song by the Hives or any of those bands of that era, but it's I Was a Teenager.
Oh, funny. I was
The
just
one you were just highlighting.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that you started highlighting it. Yeah, man.
I was gonna go into this one next when you were gonna say yours, which
Yeah.
is just hilarious. Yeah, this song is it's great.
It's a really good song.
This is next to like, I mean, I'm not ranking them all, but like,
No. That's not the thing we're ranking today.
yeah, we're not ranking that, but yeah, I was a teenager.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorites off this album as well too. Just listening to it,
Yeah.
like lyrically, like I have the lyrics right here, and I'm just looking at it. Like I was a teenager full of piss and vinegar, living like a prisoner for haters. Just like yeah, that pretty much sums up being a teenager.
Yeah. And for me, this song sounds like "Hate to Say I Told You So" by the Hives.
Yeah.
Like the vocal delivery and the driving melodies, but it's a good song. I like it a lot.
Like I am an alien visitor. My life's a mess, and the school is just for suckers. Like
Yeah.
the lyric. Like I love the song lyrics of this because he's talking about being a teenager here.
And the thing about we're talking about disjointed, and like as theme appropriate as these lyrics are, it's very disjointed as far as the way it's written, like a fucking teenager wrote it. Like I feel like he opened up a songbook from when he was in high school, and this was something he wrote.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, especially after going back and listening to all the albums.
Yeah.
This could definitely feels like something like he dug this was something he's had, like I mentioned earlier, or this is something he just like managed to pull out of his brain.
Yeah.
Because again, this is one of my favorite songs off the album,
and it's disjointed in such a fucking great way.
Yeah.
But other than those like couple of songs, I'm not.
Sugar Youth was all right too.
It's okay.
Chunky's on a High.
Take the Money and Crawl is okay. But yeah, like other than like you said, Fire Ready Aim is good. And I Was a Teenager I like, and then the title track Father of All are like the songs
Sugar
that I would
Youth
listen to.
Was one that I like too. Yeah, 10 songs. This is their shortest album. From what they said, at least I think that's what they said. I don't know about how many seconds, but this is like says here it's only 26 minutes and 16 seconds. And like I said, I went through, my commute is about an hour and 10-minute drive, so I've at least heard it 3 times.
So that's a freaking short album. The only other album I can think of,
I think Insomniac's the next shortest one.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I don't know, someone will correct us in the comments, I'm sure.
It's fine. But yeah, man, it's fine. Like, I don't know. It definitely, like I said, it grew on me, and I think it started enjoying it the more I started listening to it. Yeah, and I guess other than like 3 or 4 songs, I don't know if I'll ever revisit this album again, especially with how egregious some of the inspired by bullshit is that we're going to talk about. 2 songs in particular. One, I'll give them a pass because the original artist got a writing credit, but the other one is just fucking ridiculous. So when we've talked about the things we like, we've kind of talked about the stuff we don't like. It kind of seems like they farted one out. It kind of seems mediocre at best. It seems lazy.
Right.
But was still enjoyable, which is weird to say. But yeah, man, like the songs that I can't get over how similar they sound to other songs. One of them makes sense, and that's "Oh Yeah," which sounds like the Pat Benatar song. "Oh Yeah," which is the chorus to "Do You Want to Touch Me?" "Oh yeah, oh yeah."
I don't think.
They actually, Gary Glitter actually gets a writing credit on this album. If you scroll down, to this track list, you'll see it's highlighted, and you can highlight it or click it because it's got the "Oh Yeah" has actual.
Oh yeah.
It'll tell you like they got writing credit for Gary Glitter and
Oh yeah, with
person
Shambles
that wrote
Jones
it.
Jets.
Yes.
Do you want to touch me? Oh yeah, release. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh okay.
And
Awesome.
the things I've seen were like, and this is the only time the band has ever sampled another artist,
Very
which
glitter.
okay, if you want to get technical about it, this might be the only time they've ever actually used sounds from another song in one of their songs. But this is not the first time where they've made a song that sounds identical to another fucking song.
Right. And we were talking about that earlier.
And the one that really stands out to me is 21 Guns off of 21st Century Breakdown, which sounds identical to All the Young Dudes by David Bowie. But you even brought up Waiting off of Warning,
Yeah.
which the verse sounds like the verse to the song Downtown.
Right. It is called Downtown, that song.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Again, since this is something we're throwing up on YouTube, I can't just have you pull up the video of All the Young Dudes by David Bowie, and then play them side by side. I can show you that later if you want. It'd create way more editing for you if we did it right now.
I mean, not if I just play it right here.
Okay, you could.
Which two songs?
21 Guns off of 21st Century Breakdown.
All right.
And All the Young Dudes by David Bowie.
Okay. So you're talking about these two songs being similar.
Similar. Okay, yeah.
21 Guns, Green Day.
Uh-huh. And it's specifically the chorus to the songs. So it's kind of like... And I like this song, and I like this album, even though I feel like it was trying too hard to be another American Idiot as far as concept and style.
Right.
But
this was a song that grew on me too.
yeah,
Because I was kind of, just because it sounded like the grab again towards like Wake Me Up.
yes,
Like they're trying to go for that.
yeah.
In fact, I don't even think I've ever seen the video.
I didn't know there was a video. Look at his lame hair. He's still rocking that 15 years later, dude.
All right, and you said the other one is
All the Young Dudes by David Bowie. And again, it's the chorus to this song and the chorus to 21 Guns. But even not just the chorus. Listen to that.
I can see the similarities.
But the chorus is the thing that will really...
Like about a minute in.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a minute. I'll go back a little bit. I think it is that. Yeah, more. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's the same everything. So maybe they never sampled another artist. I wish I would have thought to actually prep clips for you, so it would cut down on your editing. But yeah, man, like it's yeah,
I can see, and it's not the first time they've
and they're not the first artist to do it at all. Like
exactly.
And if you're going to be inspired by someone like David Bowie, then fucking go for it, because he's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
he's
great.
a legend and an icon, and all the hyperbolic things you could say about a musician or an artist, those things are reserved for people like David Bowie.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really bother me, because I still really like that song, the 21 Guns. It's still a good song, but every time I listen to it, when the chorus comes up, I find myself just singing David Bowie. Yeah, and it's.
I felt that way with Waiting. And
Yeah.
singing Downtown instead.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's not the first time. And then you get, and Gary Glitter gets the songwriting credit on there, and that's cool. And they actually sampled bits of music from that song for the chorus. Like, all right, cool, I'll give you a pass on that. Then you cut to like 2 or 3 tracks later, and you get to Stab You in the Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, again, similar to the Bowie, the 21 Guns, All the Young Dudes thing. Like, yeah, there's more notes, but tempo, time signature, everything is almost identical in that song. And Stab You in the Heart, by Green Day and Hippie Hippie Shake by the Hanging Blue Jeans. It's the same. Almost identical. Hippie Shake.
And you know, honestly, I know it sounds exactly the same,
With
but
swinging
I kind of
BJs.
like it.
It's a good song. Again, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but
Jesus Christ. It's a straight riff.
it's the same chord crawl progression too. Like it's the
Yeah. Sorry for those watching and listening
Yeah.
on YouTube. I know the quality's not going to be great right now, and
Right.
I apologize. And I'm not going to fix it in post. I'm sorry. But you can go figure that out yourself, too.
yeah. Because, you know, if we actually...
But you get the gist.
If we fix the audio, then we fucking get a copyright strike. Or a
Yeah.
copyright
We're probably going to
flag.
get one anyways.
We'll get one anyway, I'm sure. But yeah.
But yeah, like, it being pretty much a carbon copy of... I like it.
Yeah.
Lyrically and
It's
like,
fine.
his voice, like... Yeah.
Again, this album is fine. I just was disappointed.
That's funny that I ended up liking it. I think I like it more than you do.
Yeah. So it's weird because I went on a real roller coaster with this album. On the first listen, my expression was like, so if you're watching video, I was like, what the fuck? The whole way through. And then a few more times I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is not a bad album. It's just not what I was hoping for out of Green Day. It feels like a lazy Green Day album. It feels like this is the Hoax album. All right, whatever. And then that started to go away, and I was like, yeah, this is an enjoyable album. I like this album. But now that we're sitting here talking about it, I'm like, it's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
You know, it's funny. It almost kind of feels like I'm rediscovering Green Day a bit.
Okay, because you're going back and listening to the old stuff.
Yeah,
prepping for this. Yeah,
especially with how like different it is.
Yeah.
Because at first, again, same feeling. I don't like it, but it started growing on me. And then, again, like I say, rediscovered because, like, it almost feels like... I mean, yeah, it's new music, but, like, a different type of new music from them. I mean, I could be wrong. Go ahead and attack me, chat. But I kind of felt like I was rediscovering Green Day. Even besides going back and listening to the old albums.
Yeah.
And it grew on me in the sense of, like, one of the other bands that I really like a lot is the Weaker Thans.
Yeah.
I didn't like them at all. When I first heard them, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, they're weird. They sound different. And, like, what the hell?
That's one of those bands where
And then just kept playing over and over.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, man, these lyrics are so fucking good. And then I ended up, they're one of my favorite bands. So
that's another band where I'm like, yeah, they're fine. Yeah. Like, I don't feel the way you do about them.
Right.
But I don't dislike them at all. Yeah. And I think that when it comes to this,
they're Canadian. That's
why. When it comes to this album, I think I'm on the same. I'm like, well, I'm not going to actively hate this album, but I don't think I'm ever going to go out of my way to listen to anything on it except for maybe putting a couple songs on a playlist.
You think this might be an album that you might come to like 10 years later and go like, or 5 years later even, and just be like,
maybe
not too bad. Other than the one song, rip off.
Maybe. I was kind of hoping that getting a couple weeks away from it would help with that. And it does to a certain extent to where, like I said, upon first listen, I was one of those people like, this is fucking trash. This is a dumpster fire. And then like I came around on it, and it's not, again, like I always say this about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that it's a terrible Zelda game, but it's a really fucking good video game. And this is a terrible Green Day album, but this is a good rock album.
That's a good way to put it. So yeah, overall, like I obviously enjoyed it a lot, which is weird to say.
Man, I thought you were gonna have my back. I thought we were gonna fucking light this on fire on video for fun, like throw it in a trash can and big old cloud. It would have been great.
For me, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, this is daring to say. Coming back 5 years later and it being higher on my list.
Is it even on? We'll get there.
It's not on my list.
Okay.
Like it's brand new.
I would leave. I would fucking leave. I joked about walking away earlier, but I would leave. I would leave.
But yeah, I mean, Green Day is definitely a band that I've been following since I was a kid, since Dookie came out.
Yeah. That's the first stuff I heard of theirs was
listening to them going back and then listening to the other 2 albums on Lookout. How to actually find albums for theirs.
Yeah, because I don't think that was like you had to find a cassette or like vinyl
mail,
for that, right?
mail order to Lookout Records.
Crazy.
But I guess I give it more of a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Than you do. We don't have a rating system here.
No, I would say that if you've never heard a Green Day album before in your life, you might really like this album. But if you're...
I think if you're coming from a generation of your first album being American Idiot,
you're going
to love this
album. You probably fucking love this album.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and those are the people I don't want to be around. I like American Idiot too. A lot. But it's... That album is a time and place.
Yeah. It was specific for the time that we lived in.
Like, very, very specific. And you could almost argue that right now is a very similar time. And that album could gain a lot of traction again right now if you wanted to.
Yeah. And honestly, that's what I was kind of hoping their next album would be. Not necessarily like one exactly like it. I'm just saying something more in the range of political punkness.
I think it's funny that, you go back, that was 04 was American Idiot. You go back to 04 and everybody was like, and Bad Religion had an album out that was very political also. That's an amazing fucking album. Amazing album also.
But yeah, they put out an album around the same time too.
And there was a couple other bands that put out very politically driven albums at the time. And we've gone from a state in this world where when those 4 or 5 bands took a stand and put something out and made something they believed in, everybody was like, hell yeah, this is some good ass shit. But now, if any of those bands or bands of similar stature now were to put out a politically driven album, oh, fucking keep your opinions to yourself, man. Just make music, fucking turds. Like, that's what it would be greeted with today.
Yeah. Because, let's not pretend, though, that wasn't around, too, back then. Because that was around. I feel like, because it did get flack, but I don't think, compared to, like, how our day, how we live in now, it would be fucking
but we're
driven to the ground.
We're talking about Billboard #1 with a fucking bullet. Both this and the Bad Religion album. Bad Religion sold a lot of records because of that album and it being very politically driven.
I think also because we were just a lot more united for what happened.
I think at that time...
time and place.
Yeah, it's like I said, time and place.
2001.
In a bubble.
Yeah.
Definitely in a bubble, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of hoping for something like that. But
that'll be their first album they release...
Off their own
label.
Record, off their own label.
Yeah.
If they're going to do it off their own label, who knows? I think they're going to go independently now.
So, Metallica.
That makes sense.
Metallica did
Metallica's independent now, aren't they?
They're all...
Or they've been...
I think it's called Blackened Recordings, and that's ever since the last album that came out, which was the double disc album, was the first album they released independently. Yeah. Yes, Metallica is a $1 billion industry at this point, just themselves. We understand. We know you hate them because they make a lot of money and they foiled Napster. But that was that was an independent record, that last one.
Or you can see it.
I'm all for, man. You get someone putting their money where their mouth is. Like, yo, nobody's paying for this but us. This is out of our pockets. I think that's great.
Radiohead did that back in 2005, 6?
4 even, I would say. Yeah.
No, when they released their own album?
Yeah.
They put it, they like, pay what you want. Fuck, which one was that? Was that...
It wasn't a good album.
I'm trying to remember what the album was.
I just remember Kevin Rose talking about it all the time. But he was that
was a grower.
He was talking about the spirit of that album more so than the actual.
It was more
album.
about the spirit that you pay what you want, you know.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, like now we have things like Bandcamp where you can pay what you want for artists.
But I don't ever lowball. If I buy something on Bandcamp, it's like, what are they asking for? Okay, that's not ridiculous. I'll give you $5 for this 6-track EP. That's not ridiculous at all. Here's your $5. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be like, I'm only gonna give you $1 until I listen to it, and then maybe I'll hit your Patreon with more money. Like, I hate that mentality that people have. Like, it's Simpsons. It's like when they go to the museum and it's pay what you want, and Homer goes, "I'm not gonna pay anything." Like, I don't like that mentality whatsoever. Like, if you like something or someone or an artist, pay for their content. You're not entitled to free shit.
I don't think I paid for Radiohead's album, or did I?
No, you probably didn't. You're one of the.
I think I might have paid $1.
I'm gonna say that Rick, 2005, 2006, when I met Rick, wouldn't have paid shit for that album. He would have listened to it, and then maybe went to a show if Radiohead was playing nearby, but like extremely nearby and at a very small venue that would only cost like $15 to $20.
Can I just justify it, though? I do buy their merch.
Okay, fair.
Which costs more than whatever the album is.
Yeah.
$25 for a fucking shirt.
I would always... if I was going to buy a record or if I was going to buy a CD or an album or whatever the hell you want to call it, or merchandise or whatever, I would never do it through... like websites or shit like that.
I don't like to.
I would always do it at shows because even though I know that they have to split that up, like I'm gonna pay them $20 for their T-shirt. I know they're not taking that $20 and putting it directly back into the band's pockets. I understand that, but it feels better to walk up to somebody who's probably in that band or a friend or loved one of somebody in that band and go, "Hey, I really like what you do. Here's my money." It feels better to do that.
In my opinion, yeah. That's why I usually like buying records or albums, CDs in person than at concerts or shows or gigs rather than through the internet. I mean, now with streaming, though, everything is made so... That's a whole other topic. We can move on from that. But anyways, off the rails as we always are. Let's jump back on the tracks and...
Top 5
Green Day albums.
Yeah. Our top 5 favorite Green Day albums.
All right. So, are we going to go back and forth kind of like we usually do?
Yes. Okay. And then afterwards, we'll hit the honorable mention.
Okay. So, I did something extra because that's just what I do.
Okay.
And I added 3 tracks from that album that I really, really like.
Oh, that's a good...
I'm not saying that they're like...
Damn, I didn't think about doing that. That's good. Yeah,
I'm not saying they're like the best of the best of the album.
They're the ones
but
that call to you. Out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah. We'll go into it. You want me to go first?
Okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. Mine. I'm feeling like yours might be a little less on the beat, off the beat, or a little more off the beaten path. I feel like mine's gonna be very generic and very easy to figure out. So I'll go first. I have a feeling our number ones are gonna be the same though.
Will they?
I don't know.
Dun, dun, dun.
Rick's probably gonna say some shit like Kerplunk, an album he's only ever heard once, is his number 1 because he's a hipster ass little douche. Anyway, my number 5 favorite.
I've heard that many times. Thanks to a certain girl.
My number 5 favorite Green Day album of all time is American Idiot. Like we talked
number
about.
Number 5?
Yeah, it's Time and Place.
Wow.
It's I really like concept albums to begin with.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Meatloaf, the rock star Meatloaf.
I don't like meatloaf, the food.
I don't like my mom's meatloaf. So it has that kind of vibe to it. It's a very... And it makes sense that they made it into a Broadway show because it has that tone. I know. And I actually contemplated going to New York to see one of the 2 days that Davey was the lead.
Oh, and he was the lead, yeah.
Then I saw some of the video clips and I was like, I'm glad I didn't. And that's coming from the guy who says AFI is probably his favorite band of all time.
Right.
But yeah, man, American Idiot. It's definitely... And the reason that it's number 5 and not higher on the list is because it's very time and place. It's very in a bubble. Like in 2004 and 2005, that album was everything because we all felt that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you take the political stuff away from it and you just listen to the story of the characters in the album, you feel something. But again, I was 22, 23 years old, but still felt like underappreciated anti-establishment kid, even though I was in my 20s already. And that album is... I can't listen to that album now as a 38-year-old man and go, fuck yeah, I feel the same. I feel that. You know what I mean? Because I'm too far away from it. I just don't feel it.
I think I was 23.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So I can't listen to it now. It's not one of those albums I can go back to and still feel the same way about it that I felt at that time and place. And that's the only reason why it's number 5. Because while musically it holds up, and while narratively it holds up, and hell, even in the state we're in right now, politically, it holds up. You can't. It's like rolling the dice. It's like, how many of these things? Only 1 out of 3. It's only a good music. It's only musically proficient. I can't get down with that right now because I'm not feeling the same way as I was then. But in the time that, right now you'd roll those dice and it'd be 3 out of 4 of those things is very relevant. And I bet right now, if you've never heard American Idiot and you listen to it now, you'd probably think they wrote it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's good. But the problem with that's going to come around every 20 years where it's going to feel that way. And it's not going to feel that way constantly. So for me, it's a very time and place album. And while there are a couple of songs I can listen to completely out of context of that concept album, it's not something I can throw on and just listen to all the time. I have to be in a mood for it.
Yeah, I can see that. Because I've gone times where like Green, like I haven't honestly, like when we were doing this, like I went back and listened to all the Green Day albums, and I haven't really listened to these albums, and especially like the first 2 and even Dookie, like in its entirety since probably since I was in high school, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that, man.
And like talking about time and place, listening to that, like I can see why you would say that. Like, trapped in that era. But I lost my train of thought where I was going. But anyways, okay.
I didn't even interrupt you this time.
I know. My brain just went one way while my body went somewhere else. I don't know.
What's your number 5 favorite Green Day album?
My number 5 Green Day album is Nimrod.
Okay.
As much as it's their most commercial, in my opinion. I think it's like their most commercial album that.
I think it had the most commercial visibility.
Yes.
But I won't say it was their most commercial. You know what I mean? There's 2 connotations to that word.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
I would say visibility.
They didn't go out to make a commercial album to sell millions of copies.
Almost like, okay, we've heard Dookie.
Yeah.
We know about it.
Yeah.
But like when this came out in '97, I felt like it was a lot bigger.
Yes.
Than any of their other albums.
Yeah, it had the most visibility for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, that's my number 5, especially it coming out in the timing that it did. I think I just hit high school when that came out, '97. That makes sense, I think.
Yeah, sophomore year of high school for me.
Yeah. So
when it came out, freshman, sophomore.
Yeah, that wasn't my introduction to Green Day. Dookie was, like we already mentioned. But, like, Nimrod was just one of those that remind me of everything going through high school and, like, listening to, like, these people that you wouldn't expect that would like Green Day, listen to Green Day.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. That's why that's at my number 5, because I feel like it's the most valuable in visibility.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It definitely is.
And I always like it when an artist puts out an album and that happens. Especially when you've already been listening to the band for a long time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because like, oh great, more people are listening to it. Great, they can hear and understand and maybe feel what the band is writing about, you know, in this. Not only that, there's collaborations with No Doubt's pieces of No Doubt's band too. So I feel like this one kind of brought everyone together.
I really did. I definitely understand that for sure.
As far as tracks, I didn't really write tracks for them for this album because like that whole album is pretty much
it's Hitchin' a Ride is on there.
Like, you got Hitchin' a Ride, Nice Guys Finish Last.
Nice Guys Finish Last. God, such a good
Scattered
song.
is probably one of my favorites
Yeah.
of that. I know it's kind of more obscure, maybe. I don't know.
No, that's a good
I don't think it is.
I hear you. That's a good song.
But Scattered is definitely great, especially... have you heard Weezer's cover of it?
No.
It's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
Very cool.
But yeah, Nimrod is my number 5.
Okay.
And Scattered would probably be my top track.
Oh, Nice Guys Finish Last.
I like Nice Guys Finish Last. But
Again,
I've been hearing it over and over and over.
Yeah,
Like,
again,
it's fine.
The thing I love about that song is it sounds like Billie Joe Armstrong is in a love-hate relationship with his fucking guitar on that song.
That's true.
All right. Number 4 for me is Insomniac.
All right.
I don't know. I guess all of these could be considered like time and place albums, but I really do feel like I think Insomniac might be the most listenable anytime Green Day album. In no matter what mood I'm in or whatever trend is on or poppin' or hot or whatever, I feel like Insomniac I could listen to anytime without having to be in a certain mood or feeling a certain thing. I think this one is their most commercial as far as content and sound wise, because I feel like you could listen to it anytime. And not that it was like a pop album or anything like that, but that it is definitely something that goes with anything. It's the black t-shirt of Green Day albums. I could put it anywhere, anytime, any place, listen to it and be like, yeah.
Black t-shirt.
You know what I mean? It's
that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's one of their punkier albums.
Yeah. I feel like if Insomniac
darker album too.
If Insomniac would have come out in the release schedule or whatever.
Right.
If Insomniac would have came out at the time that Nimrod came out, I think Green Day would have blown up even more.
Well, Nimrod was right after Insomniac.
I know, but we were saying that Nimrod was their most visible album.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think if Insomniac would have come out at that time, I think it would have reached so many more people. Or different types of people.
Or like flopped, you mean? Or
yeah,
switched?
just switch the releases. Yeah.
Interesting.
But
I think that would have been like their next. That would have been like their major follow up to Dookie.
Yeah, I really like that album a lot.
If that happened,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's definitely a great album. Cool.
Like Insomniac, like the songs that are on
Any
that
songs
album.
I don't want to say mine.
Well, you might get to it later. Well, if we get to it later, we'll get to it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or I should save them till the end. I guess.
Yeah.
All right. My number 4 is you're gonna so call me out on this. 39 Smooth.
What?
Or 1,039 Smooth Slappy Hour.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it's their first album, and not necessarily. I mean, no. Cool,
it's not that it's a bad album. It's not a bad album.
But again, like after hearing Dookie, being in middle school, I believe.
93? 92, 93, 94, Dookie, around there?
Dookie was 94, yeah.
94.
So, yeah. Yeah, man, like, just listening to it, like, after listening to Dookie and then going back and listening to this, like, I was like, holy shit, like, this is what I'm going through. Like, I understand them. Like, I feel what they're writing,
It's funny because I wouldn't call Dookie a refined, technically, album, but Dookie is definitely the refined, technical version of that album right there.
Yeah. I can say that. Maybe both Kerplunk and this combined, perhaps even.
You don't get... So, look, again, I'm not knocking this album. I just think it's weird that it's in the top 5. You don't get to Dookie without Kerplunk or this. You don't. You just don't. It doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, that's crazy. So that's number 4?
Yeah, that's number 4.
Okay, all right.
I honestly thought it would actually be higher.
Okay.
But as the more I started dissecting the songs and dissecting the albums, all the albums that are on my list.
I wanted to be an asshole and put 5 albums that nobody would have put on their list. But
shenanigans.
Yeah. And like, and I'm not saying that they're bad albums, but that Kerplunk, I guess Warning is having a resurgence now, so it's not even fun to be the guy that likes Warning anymore because everybody likes it now. When they fucking hated it when it came out.
Everyone fucking did not like it, and now everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good album after all. Yeah, eat your fucking words,
yeah, 21st Century Breakdown. Like, I wanted to put 5 albums that nobody would fucking put on that list, but I was like, no, let's do this for real. Let's do this for real.
So yeah, some of the songs that I picked from there was I Was There.
Okay.
Great song.
I haven't listened to that in a long time. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, Going to Pasalacqua.
Okay.
Another great song. 16. And 16 is definitely a great song. You know, it has to deal with like meeting up with your old friends again. It was almost, I would call it like
World's End.
There you go. Yeah, World's End. I'm pointing to the poster over there.
Trying to recapture your good times.
And then realize everyone's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Paper Lanterns, also a great one on that album. So yeah, 39 Smooth number 4.
It's a good album, dude. But it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right, number 3. And this could have been 2, 3, and 4. I did a lot of shuffling. But this is the canonical list because this is what it is. Number 3 is Nimrod. It's number 3 on my list.
All right.
I love that. This is another one that while it was commercially visible and a lot of people latched onto it, it was also one of those ones that diehard Green Day fans didn't like because it was there was a lot of stuff on there that was really different. Or at least stuff that jumped out at people. The songs that the new people liked.
Perhaps their Father of All album of that year.
The stuff that the new people getting into Green Day liked on that album is the stuff that the people who were with Green Day since 91 didn't like, if that makes sense. But I love how different that album feels at points. And how we used this word earlier in a bad context, but I'm using a good one. I love how disjointed some of this album feels and how it's kind of all over the place, but not really. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you got songs like Scattered or Nice Guys Finished Last, and then all of a sudden you get King for a Day.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Yep. And it's my number 3. I don't really have much more to say about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a really, really good ass album.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
Good Riddance. How can we forget about Good Riddance?
And again, that's one of those ones that all the new Green Day fans, because of this album, love that song. And a lot of the people I knew, even at the time, 30 years later, that song is so overplayed. But even at the time, the people that I was hanging out with that were also into Green Day hated that song. Hated that song. Because it was completely opposite of the Green Day they liked.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah.
And because of that song, all these fucking preppy kids and jocks now like Green Day, whereas us outcasts didn't have our band anymore. And that's not me. That's the vibe a lot of people had about Nimrod.
Losing the grip or the ownership of
yes.
Of your band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that, I still put it at number 3.
Yeah, I forgot about that. There was that vibe going on definitely with that, especially with Good Riddance.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, a lot of strong Green Day fans either didn't like it or liked it, and then, a lot of people were asking if they were gonna. Oh no, that was on their other album. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I see that. Yeah, you were right about your list. I think I could kind of figure it out.
Yeah. So I bet you know what 2 and 1 are.
All right. So number 3.
Yeah, you're at number 3.
Okay. Dookie.
What?
Dookie number 3.
All right.
Pretty self-explanatory. Dookie's their biggest
quintessential Green Day.
Yeah. But that's an album I've heard
hundreds thousands of times.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm talking about in full,
yep.
Not just songs, in full. I had my CD player with me, and that was pretty much all I had in there with Dookie. So number 3. I mean, it's a great album. For the songs that I picked, title track or first track 1, Burnout. Fucking great start to any album I've ever heard. Another song, She.
Yep. God, I love that song.
That's such a great song. Such a great song.
That is probably my favorite song on that album. And other than Jar, depending on the day you ask me, She might be my favorite Green Day song, period.
That would be She or Burnout would probably be on my top 5.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know this was overplayed. This is a good written one type of scenario. But when I come around,
God, I love that song.
No matter how many times it gets played over and over, I don't get tired of it. I don't know what it is. It's just I don't get tired of it because it's such a good song, and maybe because I have memories attached to it.
Yeah.
And the good times it makes me think about, what that song goes with.
It's one of the few songs that doesn't sound like Billie Joe Armstrong is punching his guitar. It feels like he's playing his guitar.
Still punk.
And that riff is just so good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, like another song that I'll put up there on my list too. Dookie's hard to pick because that entire album is great.
Some might say it's their favorite Green Day album.
Yes. But
some might even say it's objectively their best album.
Right. So that's my number 3.
Are those people at this table?
Perhaps.
Who knows? Dookie's a great album, man. I think you're shortchanging.
Looking at you, Nathan Drake.
3. This is my hipstery moment that I'm going to have to back off on now because it's gaining traction. But Warning is number 2 on my list. I love that album. Even when it came out, I didn't understand
Same.
why people disliked it so much. It's the same thing happened with another band I really like, Rush. They came out with an album in the early mid-90s called Roll the Bones that people hated because it was a departure. And while
very much so.
While Roll the Bones still sounds like a Rush album, it definitely sounds more relaxed, if that makes sense. Because Rush is definitely a band that's about their fans will tell you they're a progressive rock band and they're about time signatures and how many notes can you cram into a 4/4 time signature and listen to the drummer and
I know how Rush
Geddy Lee is the bass player. Listen to that. Like, I love Rush, but I'm not on that level with those type of Rush fans. I don't think they're cool because of their math. I think they're cool because they make great music. And Roll the Bones was a commercial sounding album, a radio sounding album, and I feel like Warning was a commercial sounding album. Not because they went out there and were like, I'm tired of fucking being underground, let's make some fucking money with a commercial album. I don't think they did that. But whatever they were feeling at the time and whatever they were writing at the time, it came out more commercially digestible. And that doesn't make it bad, it doesn't make it less than. It's one of their, in my opinion, one of their best albums. Seeing as me putting it number 2 on my list, it's one of their best albums, period. And I'm glad that people are coming around now on it, all this time later. But you shouldn't have been sleeping on it 20 years ago, 25 years ago, because it was good then too.
Was that also the year when his dad died?
Maybe.
I don't know.
What year did that come out?
It came out in 2000.
2000?
Yeah. I don't know. I was just trying to see if maybe that was that connection to why the album was like that. I don't remember. But I don't know. If you know in the comments, let us know.
It's an amazing
Because I know it took
album.
him a while before he could actually write about his dad.
Yeah.
Which was American Idiot.
Yeah.
That he wrote. Wake Me Up When September Ends. But anyways, yeah.
I love that album, dude. Like, that's, again, another one similar to Insomniac. I don't necessarily have to be in a certain mood. Like, I'll listen to a Green Day album. Oh, I'll listen to Warning. That's a good album.
Yeah, Warning's good. It definitely doesn't. That was definitely it's a good album. All right, my number 2 is Insomniac.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Yeah, Insomniac. Again, kind of like what you already said. It's one of those great albums where you can listen to it anytime at all.
Yeah.
All the songs are great. The writing is amazing. Especially, you could almost call this their Pinkerton in Weezer terms. I don't know. Just because of how, dark some of the songs are. Like he talks about, anxiety and death and suicide. So like,
yet I don't have to be in a down mood to like it. Like that's the part about this album.
Exactly.
That's
but with the musically,
so good. Yeah.
Kind of how fast it is, kind of balances it out with the theme or of what their songs are about. This was definitely one that I would have also in my CD case. On rotation as well too, listening to it. If I knew I was going to go somewhere and it was only going to take me like a short amount of time, I could listen to this and it's full, I toss that in my CD player. Portable CD player.
Yeah.
Portable CD player.
I used to love listening to that while like just skating around the block until it was over. Like not doing anything, just cruising around my block. However many times it took me to go around the block while I was listening to that album. I would find excuses and reasons to walk somewhere or ride my skateboard somewhere or ride my bike somewhere so I could listen to that album more. It's a good ass album.
Yeah. And some of the songs that I picked out to let you guys know is Panic Song, Stuck With Me, and Babs. Who? Is that how you say it? Sorry, I'm bad with...
What one are we looking at here?
Oh, wait, no, because then you got to see my...
I didn't actually.
I forgot. Okay, never mind.
Okay, anyway.
I totally forgot my number one city.
It's all right, don't worry about it.
All right, so anyways, but yeah.
I mean, at this point, I could probably guess where your number one is anyway. I didn't see, but I could probably guess.
But yeah, like that's just a great album. All the tracks on there are great. All the lyrics are good.
It's a very good album.
Yeah, that's my number two.
Okay.
Number one, Gee Wonder.
I mean, it's Dookie.
Like, what else can you say about it? Yeah.
There's so much good shit on that album, and like, I went through 4 cassettes and 2 CDs.
Damn, 4 cassettes
over the lifespan of listening to that record.
I went through 1 cassette and 5 CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. That was the tape. Blue background on the tape. That was the one that was in my Walkman. I'm old, fuckers, okay?
And then you have one that's worth money if it has Ernie in the back.
Really?
Yeah. Because they had to take it off when they reissued it.
Oh.
Because of licensing and all that.
I didn't even realize that. I think of that.
Yeah. Look into it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I can't.
Comments, let me know if I'm wrong. But...
all those broken tapes and shit are in the trash 20 years ago.
No, the CD.
The CD. Oh, the CD. I don't have a copy
I'm
of it on.
not sure about the tape, but I know the CD that they reissued it because of Ernie in the background.
Okay, yeah, I think Alexis. I actually do not own a copy of that on CD right now.
Oh, wow.
But I've been through 2 of them.
Yeah, because I've had so many of them.
And 4 cassettes. But yeah, man, there was a... we used to take road trips to Colorado and New Mexico when we were in California. So back in those days, it was like a 14, 15-hour drive because of speed limits and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would listen to this on loop for 14, 15, however many hours it took to get there. I would listen to it our entire time we were there and all the way back home, which is why I went through so many cassettes. And because I'm that guy, I would stop it, flip it, fuck auto reverse. That shit'll ruin your spindles. Don't ever use auto reverse if you listen to tapes. But yeah, man, I went through so many copies of this album and just from front to back, and then, stumbling across the hidden track when you're 10 years old listening to Green Day, or 11, 12, 13, 94?
94.
You're 12 years old listening to Green Day, stumbling across that hidden track. You're like, oh shit. Is this on everybody's tape? Like, yeah, yes, it is.
That was like,
yes, it is.
Their post-credit scene.
Yeah. And then that became a real novelty thing after this, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's an amazing album. There's nothing more to really say about it. It's my first exposure to Green Day, and it made me go back and listen to their previous 2 albums. And while those albums didn't really connect with me like this one did, they're still great, and I will recognize that you don't get to Dookie without those other two. It's just fantastic, man. It's my favorite Green Day album, and I would say I would start arguments with people, and I would say that it is their best album.
I couldn't argue with that though.
You put it at number 3. You're obviously arguing about it. How is this number 3? I don't understand how it didn't even make top 2.
I know, huh? Well, my number 1 is Revolutionary Radio.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's American Idiot.
Yes, it is.
I'm that guy. It's such a great album.
What are you? Goddamn, were you like 5 when that album came out, and now that's your favorite music of all time? Because man, it was really saying something to me when I was 5 years old when this album came out.
No, it's not that.
It's a great album.
It's not that at all. It's just yes, with the time that it came out, what it's about, and how politically charged it is, especially during that Bush era, like. It's great, but also I love it for the storytelling of it.
It's also, I was gonna say, it's also super emotionally charged with Billie Joe Armstrong putting his own heart into a lot of those songs.
And that's what I love about it, especially that it was so well told that it became its own Broadway musical. It was their rock opera, whatever you want to call it. Of an album, which he even said like this was his rock opera compared to like in like the 70s bands
The Who
would put out, you know.
Tommy,
like,
I think that album's called, that he's referring to.
Yeah,
like he specifically refers to that.
He does. I don't remember.
I think it's called Tommy.
Yeah, but yeah, like for me, this was a first that it told the story. Like I know, like. Albums tell story in its own way, but this one like followed the character from track 1 to the end of the track, and that's what I love about it, and everything just that came along with it.
I gotta say, before you even get, my favorite song on that album is "Jesus of Suburbia." Like, it's such a great song. Like that's my favorite song on the album.
Funny enough, I put the songs in the order.
Oh, really?
This one is it because it was my number 1. Like I gotta put these in order.
Okay.
Jesus of Suburbia is my number 1.
Nice. That's a great song, man. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, like the long, epic.
It's a 6-minute song, if I remember correctly, and then after that, like all the other songs kind of mash into each other. So like. Are We the Waiting?
Oh, such a good song. That
interludes right into St. Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2.
Yeah.
And then the next one, number 3, would be Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Great song.
And then after that is What's Her Name?
Okay, I was saying, What's Her Name better be on there.
Oh, yeah. It was hard between Wake Me Up and What's Her Name?
Uh-huh.
Because just of the situations and the memories attached to it, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird, like... I'm
assuming that's why Kerplunk isn't on your hipster list either, because of situations and time and place.
Even.
No,
like Kerplunk was one that I listened to over and over, and I'm surprised it didn't make my top 5 list. A lot of people that I knew in my past would be surprised that it's not on my top 5. Yeah.
Is this your Avengers of Green Day albums?
I guess so. Yeah. But kind of like how we talked about, like most people. I don't think we talked about this on air. Maybe we did. I don't know. But like with people like. Smell is their thing that brings them to memories, past memories, songs. I know with us, when we've talked about it, like those are what takes us back.
Yes.
Those are our triggers.
Very musically charged and musically driven person.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that about me.
Right,
you know me long enough to really get that about me.
That's how I met you. So
yeah.
At a concert.
Man. It's a great album. It's like I know it's kind of a cop out, but I almost feel like my top 5 list could just be all 1A, 1B, 1C. Like, but I forced myself to say no. I like this more than I like that, and for whatever reason. And the way you reacted when I said American Idiot was number 5, I knew that was your number 1 right there. And you probably knew when I made that number 5 that Dookie was number 1.
I thought it would be like your number 4. I didn't think it'd be your 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I honestly kind of thought, what was Nimrod?
3.
See, I thought that would have been your number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did surprise me.
Okay. Like this is the thing that's hilarious about my list. If you don't skip or if you don't flip Warning and Insomniac, my list is chronological.
Oh yeah.
Dookie, Insomniac, Nimrod, Warning, American Idiot. Like those 5 albums are boom, 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 boom.
Oh, okay.
But I flipped those 2 not just to do it, but
Right.
because that's genuinely how I feel. But after I made the list, I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, if I don't flip those 2, then my album is just a lazy ass chronological list of these are the 5 releases in order that I like.
Since we do this on the podcast, if we were to number them as far as what was the point system?
Oh, it's 1 point for 5, 2 for 4, 3 for 3, 4 for 2, 1 for 1, or 5 for 1.
Ours are so different.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So number 5 was your American Idiot.
yeah. So that's only 1 point, and then it's
number
6
5,
points.
6 points.
Right. Let's do the math right now.
Okay.
Insomnia.
Dookie is number. Oh, it's probably
It's Dookie.
Yeah,
it's
because
Dookie.
Dookie's number 2.
Number 3 or number 2?
2.
It was number 2 for you? I thought it was number 3.
Number.
It's Dookie. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 points,
1, 2,
even if it's number 3.
Was it?
Yeah, you said 3.
Yeah.
So that's 8 points.
Oh, I
It's
accidentally
Dookie.
crossed this out. Oops.
It's Dookie. Dookie
Dookie's
is
number
the
3.
The
Yeah,
Some
Dookie
Shit
was
We
number
Like
3.
best Green Day
Insomniac
album.
was number 2.
Yeah. Insomniac might tie.
Insomniac was number 2.
So that's 4 for you and 2 for me. So that's still only 6. Yeah, it's Dookie.
Dookie was 5. 6, 7. Yeah, Dookie. Which makes sense.
Yeah. It's,
I mean,
it's predictable, I guess you would say, but yes.
Yeah.
But we don't do that anymore, remember?
We do,
because it's fun to do that, yes.
It means nothing here.
No.
We like what we like.
Yes.
This is my list. This is his list. You guys have your own list. Put your list in the comments down below.
Yeah.
We'll be curious to check them out.
Tell Rick why Dookie is the best. And why
And you
American
can tell
Idiot.
him why American Idiot's the best.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can start the conversation there or on Discord.
Yeah.
So, anything else to add?
No,
As
I
far
think that's it.
Musically, we come back and do another one.
We could. I think so. This is another you and I centric show, and I'm going to say it now, so we have to do it. We need to do this with Eminem's albums.
Well, I don't think I've heard enough of his albums.
I think you have.
I don't know if I have.
Okay.
Definitely heard his first 3.
Okay. I've got. You just didn't continue following after that?
No.
Okay, fine.
And then Recovery.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard his latest album.
There's Recovery, and then there was last year Kamikaze was very good, and then the one that came out.
Oh, that's right. I
this year,
listened to Kamikaze.
and the
That's
one
right.
the
I
one
did
that came
listen
out
to
this
that
year is really, really good too. See, you've listened to like 6 of his 9 albums, dude. Just let's do it.
one. Oh, we can. Well, come back next year or next year.
Next
I mean,
year.
next time. So yeah, thanks for thanks for watching this video. Because we are not live. If you want to see what we do in our main podcast, feel free. SomeShitWeLike.com. Follow us on Twitter at SomeShitWeLike. We let you know when we're going to go live. We usually go live on Saturday. And we do have a Discord. If you want to be invited to the Discord, let us know below. And start the conversation off. Let us know what your top 5 was. So we'll see you next time.
That was some shit we like.
Gotta make a plan, gotta do what's right. Can't run around in circles if you wanna build a life. But I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I wanna do is...
That works here. Side missions.
Side missions.